Hello and welcome back to the Three in the Key podcast. The NBL season is over, but that doesn't mean we're going to stop. I would usually introduce my co-hosts Jake and JJ, but they are irrelevant today. We are joined by the Illawarra Hawks' own Harry Froling. Harry, how you doing, mate? Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, I'm good. Just down in beautiful Hobart right now. It's sunny out for once, so that's good, and enjoying life. So life's good.
It's good to hear. Now I'll bring my co-hosts in. JJ, Jake, how you going? And shout out to JJ for organizing this podcast for us.
I'm good. I'm excited to get into this, having Harry on. Probably the first time I've probably spoken to an NBL player. So Harry, if I seem a bit nervous, that it's probably a bit in, but I'm excited to chat because I just like watching you play.
Appreciate it.
Oh, sorry, mate. I already cut you off. Good start. Nah, very much the same. I ride the coattails of JJ. Nah, very excited to have him on, and hope we can ask some decent questions.
Yeah, let's get straight into it then. So, Harry, coming off the season, obviously you got knocked out by the Kings, but how are you feeling post-season, and what's the plan going forward for the next couple of months until the season kicks back off in October?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a bit disappointing the way we finished, but I think obviously the way the chips fell, Sydney were the best team when you look at it. The way they finished the season, the way they played, they were the best team and they did deserve it. It would have been nice if they had finished first and we could have met them in the grand final possibly, but the way the chips fell, we played them in the semi and obviously didn't go our way. But it was a good year for us. We were top four 2 years in a row. Obviously, it's my first time playing in the finals, and that was a big thing for me this year, just going to a team, trying to be a good teammate and contribute to a winning team and showing that I can. So that's what I obviously aim for this year, and my role was a bit different. Like start of the year, I was probably playing a bit more, and they tightened the rotation a little more at the end of the year, and I probably didn't play as much, but I still tried to contribute in ways that, whereas in the past, I'd probably checked out on other teams I've been on or hadn't been a great teammate when that role had sort of happened to me. So I think just growing up a little bit and doing that, and obviously they were happy with me and my contributions throughout the year. So although it was disappointing, it was good for me to build on, and these next few months are just down at Hobart, sort of getting back to the way I play and playing 30, 40 minutes a game and really developing and working on things I need to work on to build on last year and get better for next season.
Yeah, blown us away with that answer there for sure. You just, I feel like it would have been a real up and down season for you, but JJ, I cut you off. Please go ahead.
I was just to ask Harry, you've had time, with Adelaide and Brisbane, and then you obviously went to Illawarra and you said your role changed. And even though, you're looking at the numbers, I know you're not a big numbers man, but I felt, as you said, you had a bigger impact with Illawarra. It was, besides being, you said you wanted to be a good teammate, was there anything that you did in the off season, before, you went to Illawarra that, shooting wise or anything that you improved on other than being a good teammate? Because, I thought your season was, really, really impactful, even though the numbers don't really show that.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I mean, I think this off season, being with Alex Moore and obviously I got in a lot better shape than I had been in the past. And I dropped 10, 12 kilos. So this off season, I'm looking to build on that and drop another, 5 or 6 on top of that, hopefully. And come into next season in even better shape. And hopefully that can help my role increase even more. But I think that was the biggest thing, sort of it tapered off my last couple of years, in Adelaide. When I stopped playing, I let it go and I didn't really do the work, So when I stopped playing, I got into worse shape and all that sort of stuff. So in Brisbane, when I stopped playing and they weren't playing me as much, I let myself go a bit and I wasn't very professional. Whereas this year came into it. I was around the weights coach, around my brother, around these boys that just the culture in Illawarra is just so different, We'd have an option, in the preseason, we'd have an optional shooting in the afternoons after a practice or after weights at 3 p.m. and it's optional, but everyone was there, it wasn't even a question. It's if you didn't go, it was you were frowned upon sort of thing, that was within the playing group. That wasn't from the coaches. It was completely optional. Whereas on the other teams I've been on, if you have something that's optional, you maybe get 1 or 2 guys showing up, you know what I mean? So that was just a big difference for me, seeing that and seeing the difference. And obviously it shows the proof's in the pudding with how those guys finished compared to some of the other teams. So it was a cool year for me and I'm excited to keep building on it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, for sure. No, definitely. Sorry, JJ. Yeah, you touched on playing with your brother there. What was it like playing with your brother this season, and sort of did you use each other as a bit of motivation to sort of get through the season and help each other out?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, obviously grew up together and we have a lot of the similar interests and all that sort of stuff. So it was really fun playing with him, and playing with him was just special. Like I think that game when the game where I played well, I think I had 27 and he had 19. It was trying to get him to get 20, but it would have been cool to both have 20 in a game. I don't know how many brothers would have done that. Probably the Webster brothers and I don't know, a few others, but it was pretty special. And just being around him, like, obviously he wants to take it to the next level, and trying to help him with that and help him develop his game along with like him helping me, just seeing how he works and helping me fine tune my stuff. So leading by example, being an older brother, not that he needs it, but leading by example and, having a bit of fun with him. And he definitely helped me lock in and pull my head in a little bit, because obviously you don't want to be a dickhead around your family and all that sort of stuff. I'm not allowed to swear, but pulling my head in, and he definitely helped me with that, along with Gorge and the Jacob Chacomas and Sean Roger. So
Yeah. I mean, go for gold if you want to swear. Go for anything. This is your platform. Go for it. You spoke a little bit about before about the culture, and obviously, like the big part of that culture was Gorge, and obviously with Gorge not at the helm next year. I just want to know, like, what was the kind of the behind the scenes like that? How did the playing team find out, and how do you go forward? Because obviously Gorge would have been massive towards building that culture and the success towards the team in the last couple of years.
yeah, I mean, it was obviously disappointing, but that was one of the big reasons I came to Illawarra, like just to play for Gorge and to have someone like that in your corner. Like obviously when I'd left some other teams, there'd been some bad mouthing about me, how free agency works, and they go, other teams ask people about and they say some not so nice things. So that had been happening with my last couple of teams, and I obviously wanted, this year was big on me building on that and showing that I can be a good teammate and contribute and not be what people are saying about me, and that's not all true. So obviously now had a great year with Gorge and his family to me. They've got good things to say about me. Hopefully I'm back in Wollongong next year, but that was just big playing for him, and it was a bit of a shock, obviously, him leaving, but at the end of the day, I'm not sure, I don't want to get this wrong, but I'm pretty sure he's 68, 69 years old. Like he's getting old now. It's going to come to an end at some point, and obviously he's got to do what he loves, and despite how much he loves it, and you see the passion in him, like there is a time on it, and he wasn't going to be here for 10 years, so I was grateful to play 1 year for him, and I'm excited for Jacob to take over, and he's going to be a heck of a coach down the line, so it'll be exciting for him.
Yeah, we're seeing Gorge loves a good spray. We saw that on social media, like when the first time out against in game 2 against the Kings, when Gorge just goes off you guys. That was pretty good to see. Was that obviously that wasn't of the first, but was there any memories or of a spray that Gorge that got you good?
Not really. I mean, Gorge is he's just one of those coaches that he could tell you like something that's completely wrong, that makes no sense. Like he could tell you go try to run up a tree and like do a backflip off it, which you're completely not capable of. But the way he'll say it to you is it'll motivate you to do it, or at least try it. Like the way he says and gets you to do things, it's just like, it's unbelievable. Like he's a great motivator, and you never take it personally with him. It's never a jab. It's never at your character or your morals. It's always to try and lift you up and to get the best out of you. So I mean, the one where he's screaming more, and I think it was against Sydney. We weren't playing great. He's like, I think we were winning, and he's like, we need more, and he got in everyone's face. He's like, more. That was a pretty funny one to me, because we were all just sitting there, and he just kept screaming more at us. So I think we're up by 10 or 15 too.
No, definitely. It is certainly a character, and been a great character in the NBL for such a long time. And we all obviously wish all the best to Gorge. You mentioned your brother having sort of aspirations to go further. What does him having the aspirations sort of drag you wanting to sort of have those future aspirations as well? Or do you sort of see yourself where you are now as a good spot, or is there always that drive to try and get even further?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I want to play at the highest level, and I want to be I've played for the Boomers before, but I want to play for the Boomers at the Olympics and all that sort of stuff. So that's still a main goal. Obviously I'd love playing the NBA, and I was, after my rookie year, I had some interest, and people wouldn't know, but I was actually pretty close to going in the second round. I had some teams say they'd take me, but that fell through, and I was pretty close. But it's, for me now, it's sort of like it's not that I don't want to play in the NBL. It's not my dream, but I'm focused on the NBL right now, developing and becoming the best player I can be here. And obviously, you see the Mitch Creeks and the Jay Sean Tates and all that. Like, if you can be one of those top guys in the NBL, one, you're going to make good money and a good living. You're living in Australia, which is where I want to be. And then two, the NBA is going to be looking at you. With the way the league is now, if you can become one of those top guys, Xavier Cooks, contribute on winning teams, good teams that have high talent imports, high talent players, you're going to get looks overseas, whether that's, you'll see guys going to Summer League this year, I'm assuming, and all that sort of stuff. So my thing's just focused on the now, trying to develop that. And then when the NBA stuff comes up, and if I get a chance to go back over there, I will. But right now, I just want to be the best player I can in the NBL. And obviously, I think Sam's going to go over and do a couple of workouts for some teams this off season, but he missed out on when his draft was. He missed out on those pre-workouts that I did. So he's going over now to work out for a couple of teams and just get in front of them and get some feedback. So it's definitely still a dream, but the NBL is special, man. Like, playing in this league, it's you talk to guys that I play with in NBL 1, and you see some of the guys, like, it's not easy to make the NBL. Like, nowadays, like, you look at the rosters and you look at the people in the thing, like, it is tough to make the NBL and stick in the NBL. So it's definitely a heck of a league, and I'm excited to just keep playing and developing in it.
Yeah, I mean, the NBL is an elite league, and it's grown so much in recent years. But that's where I kind of want to talk about next. With, there's obviously this, there's a recent trend of all these NBL next stars, skipping college or rejecting offers from the G League. So I want to talk a little bit about, like, your journey to America. So you played in college, you played for SMU and Marquette. So I wanted to ask first, like, how was it adjusting as an Aussie living in America? Obviously, you're still a kid. You're there in a completely new surroundings. So, like, how did it take you long to adjust, and were you ever really, like, settled in America?
Yeah, not really. So when I went to Dallas, I was sort of like, I was young and naive. I was 16, 17. I was getting recruited by every school. I had the North Carolinas, I had the Kansases, I had all that. I went to SMU, and I was, thought I was going to come in and play 40 and be the man. So I was a bit delusional, knowing we had 4 NBA players on our roster at SMU. But I got sold the dream a little bit and went to SMU. It was fresh off me playing in the Hoop Summit and getting MVP of the Basketball Without Borders camp, which had DeAndre Ayton and all those guys there, Frank Natiliga and a bunch of NBA dudes. So I went in a bit delusional, and I wasn't in the right headspace going into SMU, and had a bit of a bad attitude. And obviously Larry Brown leaving promised us he'd be there at least 2 years. Me and my best mate, Tom Wilson, promised us he'd be there for 2 years. And after a week, he asked the school for a 5-year contract extension. And I think they're like, you're 86 years old. We can't give you a 5-year contract extension that's guaranteed. You might knock off in the next year or two, and we don't want to pay you out 5 years, a couple mil a year. So he said, all right, I'm leaving then, and bounced. And I was like, all right, well, I didn't even give it a crack. I was so mentally checked out. I just felt betrayed. And obviously being a young kid coming over, and you get sold a dream, and then they leave on you, you just, it hurt. So I transferred, and when I transferred, I went to Marquette. I loved the recruit. I loved the visit and all that sort of stuff. And when I got there, it was just like, I was a 5-man. I was playing under the hoop. Didn't really shoot. Didn't get the ball very much. Didn't shoot. We had 2 guards. Obviously, credit to him, Marcus Howard, and who's in the NBA now, and Andrew Rousey, both averaged 25 a game. And if you know anything about college, and then Sam Hauser averaged 15 a game. So there's 65 points. If you know anything about college basketball, you're not scoring much more than 65 a game. So it was, and then I didn't enjoy it. I was so checked out, and obviously the coaches messed with me a little bit. It's just such it's a mind game over there. If you're not one of the main guys, or you don't have the confidence or the arrogance as the main guy, you just, they really mess with those lower dudes, you know, the guys that are at the 5th, 6th, 7th off the bench and all that sort of stuff. And as a young kid, I didn't know how to handle it and how to manage it. Whereas what I probably should have done is just knuckled down and said, you know, screw it, I'm going to go get buckets. I'm just going to play and enjoy life. But it ended up being more of a mental game for me, and I hated it. And I checked out pretty early from there. So I don't really like the way I handled it all. But as a, you know, 18, 19-year-old, it's tough, man. Like living away from home. I was in negative 30 degrees, like snow, ice in Milwaukee. Probably the best thing was being around Thon. Like, he's one of my best mates, Thon Maker, and he was in Milwaukee at that time, so we'd just hang out every day, and he'd help me through stuff. But yeah, it was a cool experience. But if I could go back, I would have just come straight to the NBL.
Well, you were in the NBL before you went to college. You were at Townsville, and I think was that the last year before it folded? I think. Yeah. What was the, you know, you were only 17, you know, going into Townsville, you know, onto that roster. What was it like being surrounded by, you know, blokes that still playing there, like, you know, Clint Steindl, Nick Kay, who's over in Japan? What was that like as a 17-year-old?
Yeah, I mean, it was cool. Like, it's cool, like, having a relationship with all those guys now. Like, having played with them when I was 17, and obviously being young, I think I averaged like 4 or 5 minutes a game. So I actually played a little bit, which was kind of cool. And just knowing I could sort of hold my own. And I was really, like, not raw, but I was really underdeveloped back then. Like, I wasn't huge. I didn't have the size to me, the strength to me. Like, I couldn't really physically hold my own, but skill-wise, I could see that I could. And I think that was big for me, and that gave me confidence. And I think that also probably hurt me going over to America, because in the back of my mind, I'd had NBL teams talking to me, and I know Joey tried getting me to not go to college when I was younger, and he was based in Adelaide. And sort of in the back of my mind, I was like, what am I doing over here, like, for free, getting like pretty much shit on every day by these college coaches that just tell you how bad you are and how much you suck. And then when I could be at home making, you know, 80, 100 grand as a rookie or whatever it would have been that I got. And that probably didn't help me, but playing with those guys and just that team, like, it was cool. Like, you look at all those guys now and how much they've developed from where we were. Like, if you put that roster together right now, like, we'd go pretty close to winning the thing with some good imports. So it's pretty cool and pretty special.
Actually, before you go, would you hope if that, you know, now we have, you know, the Next Stars, if they had the Next Stars program back when you first started, do you think that would have, you know, helped you maybe make the choice, you know, rather than go to, would you have gone to college, or would you, you know, as you said, stayed here in the NBL?
I don't know. I think it would have been tough for me, like, because I had the option of the NBL without the Next Stars thing. I think I probably still would have done the same thing with college. Like, knowing me, like, I thought I was the man. Like, I was like, I'm one and done. Like, I'm going to school. I was so out of it. I was so delusional, like, with that. But I was just like, that's what I thought. And I was like, I'll go over here free. Larry said, like, even Larry Brown, like, guys coaching the NBA finals and Hall of Famer, he's like, Harry, like, you're going to be here for 2 years max, and then you're in the NBA. Like, and like, you got someone like that telling you that. Like, I don't know whether he meant it or whether it was a sales pitch, but for someone like that to say, and then you're a 17, 18-year-old kid, you're like, your eyes light up. You're like, oh yeah, this is a place to go, you know? And then first practice, I roll in, he's like, Harry, if you're going to be in the NBA, you got to be a shot blocker and a rebound. I'm like, coach, have you watched any scout on me? I'm like, that is not something I do. I do not block shots. I maybe have like a 20-centimeter vertical. Like, I'm like, you're dreaming. Like, and then I found out that all the recruiting text from Larry Brown was actually his daughter texting us, because so on his phone, like, I don't know if he told her what to say, but me and Tom Wilson found out, like, it wasn't even from, I don't even think it was from his phone. It was her, like, doing the recruiting on his text messages on his behalf. So it just shows what college is. But yeah, Next Stars, I'm not sure. I probably still would have gone to college. But if I had my mindset now that I do now and the reality of it, I probably would definitely stay in the NBL.
Yeah, as you mentioned, mindset. What sort of a two-parter? What sort of drew you into the game as a young player, and what sort of advice can you give those that are making their way into these next star academies and going into possibly a college career as well?
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing for me is just loving it. Like, at the end of the day, like, I started playing basketball when I was like 4 or 5 years old. Dad was around the Crocs. Dad was an assistant coach, and I started playing for basketball because I loved it. Like, I didn't play for money. I didn't play for fame. I didn't play for any of that. Played because I enjoyed it. Obviously, I got good at it and had good coaches as a junior, mainly being dad. But the biggest advice I have is just make sure you love it. Like, I look back on all the times when I've had my worst years or when I've been in the worst headspace or not wanting to play. It's always been like college when I didn't want to be there and I hated basketball. SMU when I was mentally checked out, didn't want to be there. That second year in Adelaide when everything that went on in Adelaide went on. All that sort of stuff. Like, those are the years where I've just hated basketball. And when you don't love basketball and you don't want to be there, you don't work out as much, you don't work as hard. You're a bad teammate, you're a bad person, so that's the biggest thing for me. Like, make sure you love it and try and keep that love for it. And you got to find ways to do it, whether it's a psychologist or talking to someone or finding a good mate or just working through the BS and doing that. But that's the biggest thing. Love the game. And if you start losing the love for it, you've either got to change something yourself or change your environment. So
you talk about loving basketball. I can tell you one night you would have been loving basketball. I think that was your career high points total for this season when you were 8 from 10 from 3. Now, was there a point in the game where, you get a couple shots going and then you look at your tally and you go like, I'm not missing. I'm going to just keep shooting threes until I miss? Or is there something, does Gorge say something to you, like calm down or keep shooting? So I just want to know like what happened there between your mindset and the coaching staff when you were just on fire.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I can shoot the ball. Man, I know I can shoot the ball. So confidence hasn't really been a big thing for me, a big issue. But like when you're hot, you're just hot. Boys were finding me. Like, I know XRM was finding me in open spots, and Sam was finding me. Like, if I got my feet set and I'm letting it fly, like, obviously I think I was shooting pretty good percentage for most of the year. It dropped off towards the end when I wasn't playing as much, but I like to back myself as one of the best 3-point shooters in the league, and I knew it was going down. So it's just a confidence thing. Let it roll and let it fly, and I think I did that. And like in your head, you just like, you don't really think about it. I was carrying on a bit, like I love the Illawarra crowd, and I was carrying on a bit, like getting them all razzed up. And I remember at halftime, Gorge gave us a big spray, like to the team, but it was definitely directed at me. He's like, "Here's the front runners, like you running around celebrating and jumping around, like don't be front runners." Like, gave us a big spray on that. I'm like, got to tone back the carry on a little bit, but. I love it. I've had a couple games like that. I know that when we played Cairns in NBL 1, I think I had 9 threes in the first quarter. So I'm definitely capable of it, but it's just fun, and it's cool when you have those games and you get hot.
Yeah, I like that. For that, the photographer got a great image of you. I think it's saluting to the, owning your three to the crowd. I love that image. Every time I see that image, like, oh, Harry. Oh, what a celebrator. I love him so much. But as you said, you're playing with your brother Sam, and you obviously got two sisters, Keely and Alicia. Out of those 4, having a bit of fun, who do you think are the best out of the 4 of you?
I'll probably say I still think I'm the best. Like, one-on-one, no one could guard me. Yeah, my role's been different on teams. Sam will think he's the best. He's probably paid the most, but he thinks he's the best. But I can definitely still take him one-on-one. I wrestled actually my last week or two in the Gong. He was talking a bit of shit when we were down at the beach, and I was like, I still got you. I can still, like, he's a big strong boy now. Got all the biceps and the 6-pack, and he's looking good. He's 110 kilos or whatever he is, and down the beach in front of all the boys too. Greta, Emmett, we got some witnesses. He wanted to wrestle me, so had to big brother him and put him in a headlock, and he tapped out pretty quick. So I definitely think I've got him covered, but. Yeah, Keely and Alicia, they're coming a long way. And obviously the way Keely's been playing lately, and her role has been special with Sydney being one of the main players. And I'll tell you what, it must be nice for her getting 30 shots a game out in Sydney. I would love that if they just said, Harry, go for 30 shots a game. I'd probably average 20. So it's been good for her having that role. And Alicia's changed her game completely, obviously switching from, I don't know if you noticed, but she's switched from being a right-hand shooter to now she shoots left-handed. So after a month or so, now she's hitting threes, and her shot looks good because it was broken when she shot right-handed. So, I'd definitely rank me, probably Sam, and then Keely and Alicia tied third.
I think we know the recipe. I think, Jacob Jacobus has to, next at the start of the season, it's like, boys, give the ball to Harry. We want to give him the average at least 15 to 20 shots, and he's going to take us to the NBL championship. He's going to win us that title, because they do obviously it wasn't used this year, so you never know. Maybe that's changed the style of the recipe, that needs it, that they need in Illawarra. You never know.
Yeah, I think we probably should send this to Jacob Jacobus and let him know next year if he has me.
You got this. Just, we're going to put that out. You got to put this clip out. It needs to know. Everyone needs to know. That's the game plan.
I'll send it out. We'll get it out to everyone at the Hawks staff. So
all we need to do is
benched.
I've been working on
the start.
My point forward skills here in Hobart, so I can run a bit of point guard and I'll take all Tyler's shots. I think yeah, so there'll be 10, 15 shots fran up for me there too.
Well, Tyler can shoot, or you can play off ball. You know what I mean? So you'll be right, Harry.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Jake. Sorry.
Oh no, just sort of going on just with different players and whatnot. Obviously, it's probably a difficult question to answer. You've played for a while now. Is there one player that you just really enjoy playing with, whether it be a point guard or a fellow big man, or is there just one player that sort of sticks out in your mind that you just love playing with and would love to continue playing with or play with again?
Yeah, there's a couple. I mean, one of them was Jake Wiley. He was like pretty cool to play with. Like, that dude is just a ball of energy, man. Like, he's like a genuine dude. Over obviously when he was in Adelaide, like, dude came in, played his ass off, played so hard. He's always hyping you up, like cheering you on. Like, he was just a great teammate, great dude. Like, I loved playing with him. Tom Wilson, my best mate. Obviously he's at Collingwood now, but I've played with him since, I think the very first under 14s, like Oz camp. Like, the stories me and him have together are just unbelievable. Like, we went to college together. Like, we went through that big mess, came back to the NBL together. We transferred colleges together. Like, he tells me a story of, like, at Oz camp. He said I came in like this little fat kid from North Queensland, and they're all the Vic Met, the Vic Met, like the DJs, Jock Perry, Tom Wilson, like all those, the top dogs. Victoria smack everyone by 40 at nationals, and I'm like the one like North Queensland kid, and we met him like the hallway, and he remembers like mid-camp I got a neck cramp or something. My neck went. I had like a bung neck, and I was just walking around like I could only walk around like this the whole time. Like, my neck. So I go to Barry Barnes. He's like, go sit down. I sit down, and then Tom sees me. The manager brings me like Macca's, and I'm walking in with like a Big Mac through the dining hall or something, or through the hallway of thing. And Tom saw me and spoke to me, and he's just like, my first impression of you is you eating a freaking Big Mac walking through the Oz camp, which is ironic looking back now. And like, we've done so much together, and playing with him was just always special. So hopefully one day he comes back to basketball. But yeah, playing with him and Emmett Nah, I love playing with Emmett Nah too. Like, I know he didn't play a lot this year, but I mean, man, that dude's special. Like, the way he passes the ball, as a teammate, like, you can't fault him at all. Like, he's going to be good wherever he is next year, and he's going to shock a lot of people. I know people saw what he did the last year when he got minutes, but he just looks after the ball and he finds you. Like, having a guy like that, like, so unselfish. He doesn't take bad shots, moves the ball, gets you when you're open, and he's gets 10 assists if he needs to, and 0 turnovers. Like, that's special to play with. And when you're big and you got a guard that looks for you like that, like, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I just want to ask one last question, then we'll get to some quick rapid fire ones. This is a bit of a niche question, but I've noticed as an Australian basketball fan, a lot of these young kids go to America. They're there for a year. They come back, they lose the Australian accent. Now, obviously, you spent a couple of years in America. I want to know, like, did it ever creep in? Did you ever find yourself, going like, pass me the ball, or coming back and saying American slang? Because you listen to Josh Giddey now, he's been there for 2 years, and he's almost unrecognizable. You could chuck him in the middle of, the city, and people think he's American. So, yeah, what was it like for you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously you got over there, and I didn't ever lose my accent. I definitely had some like words where I'd use more of their words, like y'all and all that sort of stuff. And I guess that gives you more of like, because you've never said it before. So I hear them say y'all, like, what are y'all doing? I'd be like, what are y'all doing today? Like, you sort of get those twangs, but I've never been, I don't know. I think it's pretty fake when dudes come back after a year or two and you got an accent. Like, it just seems, to me, it's pretty cringe. Like, I sort of get secondhand embarrassment from it, to be honest. Like, some of these guys that come back and they're talking like Americans, it's just like, but for me, it was never a thing. Like, love my Aussie accent, and obviously used it when I was over there. And yeah, it's pretty funny how people come back like that.
I completely agree. And thank you for saying that, because I've been waiting for someone to say it is a little bit embarrassing. Like, just be proud of being Australian, right?
Yeah.
Well, Harry, you're obviously in NBL 1 now. You're playing with Hobart. You obviously played with Mackay Meteors last season. I just want to ask, I don't know, obviously we all saw it. Did you get paid to wear those jailbreak McDonald's uniforms?
Nah, it was they do it every year up in Mackay. So a couple of flack. I wasn't in great shape then either. I was like 130 something kilos. So obviously the Twitter trolls and the Perth fans who love me were quick onto that. So yeah, we didn't get paid, but I think we sold them at auction after the game, and then I think mine sold for $2,000 or $3,000 or something. A couple of the other boys sold for $4,000. So the local legends, but it was a good charity, and I probably should break out the jerseys again, seeing that's the game I had 40.
Definitely, I enjoyed it. So if they can bring it back, like even Hobart, tell someone at Hobart just to bring a special jersey, because I'd love to see you in different colour jersey, because the NBL ones are fine, but that one it just hit different.
Yeah, it was cool. They do it each year. So the year before they did Ronald McDonald, then they did the Hamburglar, and I guess this year they'll probably do it. They'll be running around like a purple Smurf thing. So see what happens.
Oh, I can't wait for that. But we'll wrap up the podcast here with what we do here at the Inner Sanctum. Anytime someone new joins, we give them a little quiz just to kind of get to know them. So we'll get the fans to know you a little bit of Inner Sanctum style. So first off, starting off, your favorite sporting teams, any sport in the world, just list them off, rattle them off one by one.
Probably Collingwood Magpies. I don't really follow any other sports, to be honest. Maybe Cowboys, I guess. I don't really follow either, but I don't really follow much international sport. But yeah, probably Magpies. Dad's been a Magpies fan. Dad's from Collingwood, sort of followed him growing up, and then now my best mate plays for him, so get around him.
Okay, fair enough. Your favorite TV show all time and currently?
TV show. That's tough. I haven't really watched a lot of TV shows, but I like Suits, if you've seen that on Netflix. It's a pretty cool TV show. The Office. That's
great choice.
Pretty good.
Classics. The classics.
And right now, probably just Rick and Morty. Like always.
Fantastic.
That's
Fantastic
sort of
choices.
But in saying that, probably not a TV show, but Naruto as well. Watched all Naruto. But that's definitely up there. I grinded that. Me and Tanner Krebs grinded that whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I can't knock them. They're pretty good. Now, this is a little bit of a niche question, because Simpsons is quite a debated topic in the Sanctum. Who is your favorite Simpsons character if you watched it as a kid?
Probably Bart, to be honest. I'm probably most like Bart. The rat trouble.
Eight minds think alike.
Yeah, exactly. So, probably Bart. Definitely like Barney as well. He's a pisser.
Yeah, he fits in a lot of the Australian culture, doesn't he? And your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, I can't sing. I don't know.
You don't have to sing to do karaoke.
If you were to sing, Harry, what would it be?
Well, I've never really done karaoke, to be honest. Maybe like Macarena or something. I don't know what.
The song with the least amount of words. Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, respect it. You could have picked Tequila. It's one word. Yeah, you could have done that. Is there more doors or wheels in the world?
Wheels, you'd have to say, for sure.
Okay.
Damn it. It's Doors gang, but that's all right.
We're firmly Doors gang, yeah.
Everyone says like cupboards and all that sort of stuff is a door, but for me a door is something you open and walk through, or like a fridge door.
Would you consider
I'll be sure
wheels?
to take that to the Sanctum if that's the case, and let the Sanctum people know. Put them in their place.
Hey, like the cupboards and all that. That's a cupboard. It's not a door.
If you don't consider cupboard doors, then you can't consider like Lego wheels in like mechanical stuff, like roller doors and stuff, right? Surely.
Yeah. They're wheels that the toy cars work. Like you can roll them.
Yeah, but they're not transporting a person.
Yeah, but they're still wheels.
So
I love how we're getting a debate with Harry Froling. We're getting into a debate about wheels and doors with Harry. I love it.
If you open the door on the toy car and opens, then yes, that's a door.
Okay.
But
okay. Yeah. I think we'll leave it before this ends in a fist fight or something. Because
You ain't winning, Dom.
I'm not too far from the gong. So yeah.
Okay.
And the final question: your favorite flavor of shapes?
This is the most important one, Harry. Don't get it wrong.
Mine changes, but it's between pizza and barbecue most of the time. But
Yeah.
love pizza. I also like chicken crimpies too. Chicken crimpies.
Let's go! Yes.
But they're
Yes.
a bit too full on. They're like very salty. Like they hit you. So they got to be. It's an acquired taste when you have a chicken crimpy. Whereas if you're just gonna have a packet of shapes, like it's usually the pizza or barbecue that you can just have all the time. Chicken crimpies are select for special occasions.
You've recovered well.
I'm happy you said
Quality
crimpy because
answer.
I was going to say if we didn't say crimpy, this podcast probably wouldn't. This episode wouldn't go out. So it's lucky you said crimpy.
You've recovered. You've recovered incredibly from going to Team Wheels. You've gone to Team Pizza, which is the elite pizza shapes. But we don't want to take up too much more of your time. You've been very generous with your time. Thank you so much for joining us, Harry. Really appreciate it, mate. Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
Sweet. And
Thanks, Harry.
if you guys want to follow us on socials, we are on Instagram and Twitter at 3 in the Key Podcast. Thank you for listening so much.